All right, welcome to a brand new year and a brand new episode of the Community Pharmacy Accelerator Show. And in this show, we try to dissect areas of need. We look at the community pharmacy space and we look at the challenging, areas, the pain points, and we are always here to provide solutions to these things based on experiences, based on research. We provide workable solutions that help address existing and perhaps potential problems of community pharmacy practice. My name is Pharmacist Joseph Iberim. I'm the lead management consultant at PGN Biz Consult, a facility and organization where we provide solutions to business problems, right? With a view to helping people enjoy doing business, do all our best, all we can to improve competence of both employees and potential employees to also bridge the gap, created by unemployment. So we want to make more people employable and also help drive better businesses in our industries. So today we'll be talking about 5 areas of attention for community pharmacists in 2024. All right, and it's also important to state that this presentation is a contribution to knowledge for improved service delivery. Right. So the points here we're going to be sharing in this presentation, they are based on observations, research, and interactions with industry players, and it's purely for the love of our practice. So you are also welcome to add to the list because what we have here is not necessarily exhaustive. But one of the key important things about this presentation is that it reminds us of some of the areas that we're not looking at, that we've not been paying attention to. And there is a need for us to pay attention so that we can stay competitive, so that we can excel better in our practice, especially at a time when things are really hard and there are competitions and we have issues with implementation of laws and sanitizing the pharmacy space. So it's important that we also put into practice the things we learn here because the recommendations will not be effective if they are not backed up by action. So the key areas of attention that I'll be discussing in this presentation are: number one, superior service; number two, human resource management. I'm talking mainly around hiring and firing, and basically hiring and training, right? And then we're talking about medicines availability. When we talk about medicines availability, what are we really talking about? Is it just to have the medicines? Why do we need to have medicines always available? And what happens when we don't have them? We'll also be talking about public image and branding, and then we dive into record keeping. A lot of people don't keep record, and we know that whatever is not recorded is not done. Right? So it's very important that we take note of these things. So we'll talk about superior service. We'll talk about the fact that it starts with a determination to provide top-notch quality service. Right? So the pharmacy management must determine to provide top-notch quality service, not just to have medicines and give out, but you must be ready to ensure that both the medicines, the products, and the service you give are top-notch quality, and even the manner of dispensing, the whole experience of the client to come to the pharmacy must be top-notch. They must have a need to come back when they need to also refer other people to your pharmacy. Right? And one of the ways to do that is by querying the medicines they come to ask for. So when they come to you, no matter how enlightened they are, you must query the medicine they are asking for. Right? What do you want to use this for? In a very polite way. Who is going to be using this medicine? Do you know how it is administered? These are very important. Okay, you want to know, have you used this medicine before? Are you allergic to this? You want to know, right? So it's important that we always query the use of medicines. It sets us apart from those who are not knowledgeable about medicine. And not just knowing this, we also have to teach the ones working with us how to query use of products when people ask them. You need to provide additional information. Very important. Don't just give only the information that they just don't provide a service only. Teach people about things around their health. Within the shortest period of time you have, just chip in a gist, 1 minute, 2 minutes, extra information. Use that as a giveaway to the patient, to the client, the customer who's coming to seek your services. All right. It's always good. It makes you a professional. It makes them see you as a dependable professional. Suggest products for immediate or future use. Okay, so someone who is well body built shows up and is asking for malaria drug, right? So he has not asked you for anything about his body build, but you want to ask him, do you have something for your body build requirements, right? Like whey protein. Do you have such things, right? He may say he has, he doesn't have. He may also ask you, what do you have? It's an opportunity for you to show what you have. And then you see that, oh, this person cares, right? Or you see maybe an eczema on someone's face and you're saying, well, I think this eczema on your face, there's something you use for it. We have something that is effective, and then you give the person, and the person may not even have the money at that time, but the person may come back, but the person will be happy that you showed care about their concern. And that's also a way to show a superior service. And then when people have patronized you, people have come through you, you need to follow up. You need to follow up to know whether the product you gave them or the services you render really, really worked in the long run. You need to also follow up to know whether there are adverse reactions. You also need to follow up to show that you care, that you are concerned about their well-being. It sends a feeling of friendship between you and the client. All right, and whenever there is a conflict, you need to resolve it promptly. You need to set up mechanisms for conflict resolution. You must make your staff understand that conflicts are normal things to encounter. Grievances are normal things to encounter. That the client who is complaining is truly the friend of the business, and the client who doesn't complain and goes away, you may not even be able to find them. And there are more of such people. So the few that complain must be welcomed, and their complaints must be treated favorably and promptly, right? And it's also important that we leverage on technology as enlightened people to gain competitive advantage in the provision of our service. Another thing, talking about number two, is human resource management. I'll talk about hiring and training. Very important areas that often are taken for granted when it comes to human resources, right? So we want to prioritize the hiring of efficient staff in 2023, 2024, because when you hire people who are not efficient, you are going to be stressing yourself. Trust me, you hire people who are not efficient, people who are not committed, you just want to replace somebody, and you just look at their CV, they say they have worked in some places, they've been trained, and you just hire them just like that. Where were they trained? What's the quality and caliber of their trainers? You don't even know. So you want to look at their character. You want to look at the kind of person, their presentation. Are they people who like to smile? Are they people who are receptive? Are they people who are stubborn? Certain things you can see from the point of even hiring that you want to ensure that you say this is a no-no for us, right? And you want to also hire roles previously established to drive success. So before you hire people, you must have established the rules that are critical to the success of the practice. And then you begin to say, okay, this person will do this based on their competence. I will handle this. Then this, we need someone to do this because you can do this, I can do this. And then you hire somebody. And so when you're hiring, you're looking at the roles that you're missing in your practice that someone needs to fix, right? That's why you hire. And then when you onboard them, when you're onboarding has to do with creating, providing orientation about your organization, about the things you do, where you're going to, the various functions, the partners you have in business, the people who you work with, those who provide ancillary services. You need to know. You need to let them know what motivations do you have, incentives, and of course the order of punishment for people who falter, who err. Okay, they need to know all these things. You need to acquaint your staff with clear organizational goals and how they contribute to it, because people want to be told, people want to know how they are part of the system, right? And they want to be happy when they are contributing meaningfully to, so you need to let them know. And you need to help them know their work by clearly outlining it. All right, so you can help them out. It's not every time, there's nothing to gain by shouting and shouting and complaining that, oh, the staff, they are good for nothing, they're not doing their work well. No, you want to ensure that they do their work because it's beneficial to your practice. So you want to help them outline their work so that when everybody does what they are doing, the practice will move forward. And when they are not doing, they know that they have omitted something they're supposed to do, right? So that is how you organize a business. And of course, you want to invest in staff training and education. I mean, what is your staff doing in your business premises when you are not constantly putting them in shape, giving them knowledge. It is the knowledge you give them that makes them contribute positively to your practice. You need to let them know the way you want things to be done. You need to let them know the standard way of doing things and the results that come from it. You need to teach them how to handle specific medications that are over the counter. You need to let them know how to handle issues that can be handled by you when you're not around and what they should do. You need to send them out to train, to see other people, like the Impact 1.0 we organized last year and we're going to be organizing this year as well. People were happy to have been sponsored by their pharmacies to come for training, and they were so happy to be learning in another environment away from their own place of practice. It has positive effects and motivational impact in the lives of your staff. So you want to invest in that, right? And in doing this, you want to establish your concern for their improvement and progress, right? So your goal is to make your staff better and to ensure that they're in there. When they look at themselves, 1 year after working with you, they can see that yes, they are drawing close to their dream and future goals, right? So it's important that we look at human resources, especially the areas of hiring and training. Medicines availability, number three, is another very important aspect of the practice of community pharmacy. I mean, it is the core essence of your business. The moment you open a pharmacy to the public, you're letting them know that first of all, you have medicines available for them to come and access, and they have the right to walk in to your pharmacy and demand for any medicine. And you are the medicine man, you are the medicine practitioner, the drug expert, right? So you have a duty to make sure this medicine is available, to ensure that proper information about these medicines are given to them. So you must demonstrate your commitment to it. You must ensure that you you're not happy when the medicines are not available, and you must ensure that you show to the client that you're willing to make the medicine available. Even when you don't have them, you want to get it to them in the shortest possible time, right? And you also need to have tools that help you prevent stockouts, that help you have perfect control of your medications, right? Of your inventory and your procurement, right? A tool like ShopKite Merchant is something I recommend, eagerly. I recommend it strongly for you. It helps you know what's happening around your expenses, the customers you have, the products, their shelf life, how many days to expiry, how many have finished, what's the stock level. It helps you manage your business very well. So I recommend it. It's something that you can use, and I bet there are maybe some other easy to use tool too that can help you achieve this. But you must have these things to ensure. That's another way of leveraging technology to ensure that you deliver top-notch service, right? So you must understand the various distributors too and their strengths and weaknesses. Some distributors are very good with supplements. Some would never compromise on their sourcing of medications. You need to know where to get what. Some people will just buy from open drug market just because they want to always have them. Some people will just buy from anywhere. But there are people who that when it comes to certain kinds of medication, you don't want to joke with where you get it, because these people will never buy from any substandard source. You need to make sure you buy more from this people, because you also want to give top notch quality service backed up by integrity to your clients, right? You need to also understand your logistics and supply chain consideration. Make sure that you're not spending so much on transportation to get drugs and so making your prices high or reducing your profit. So you need to understand the sequence of activities that lead to your getting your medications and making them available, and to make sure that you spend less in getting medicine. Sometimes you may want to buy in bulk, to buy it cheaper, so that you can get this medication to clients in a more cost-effective manner, right? So it's important to consider that. Number four is public image and branding. How do people see your pharmacy? The public that you are attending to, what is their impression? What kind of message you send out to the public about your pharmacy? And this has to do with, do they see you as a very tidy person, a tidy business, as a place where hygiene is a priority? What's your taste? What kind of customers, clients are you positioning your business for? Is your business devoid of a parking area so people who have cars can hardly come and park and wait to be attended to? Do people have to go and park some miles away to come to the pharmacy? How visible is your pharmacy from 200 meters, 100 meters? Is it just one obscure place? What's the signage like? You think it's excess surplus requirement? What messages are there? Do you have your phone number? Do you have your address? How can people driving by recall that you exist around there? Do you have your pharmacy on Google Maps? Do you have pictures of your pharmacy on Google Maps for people to know when you are available? These things are very important. What kind of staff do you even put in your pharmacy? When you're not there, what kind of staff do you have there that will represent your kind of person? Sometimes you walk into a pharmacy, you walk into a business, and then you see some persons and you wonder, do these people know what empathy is? Do they know what it means to work in a healthcare facility? And when you brand yourself, what are the colors that you're known for? How big is your pharmacy so stuffy? Do your staff wear uniforms? I mean, can people even comfortably take pictures in front of your pharmacy? What kind of reputation are you building for your pharmacy? Because your staff want to be proud to say out there that they work for this brand. Just like someone will say, well, I work for LNG, I work for Shell, I work for MedPlus, I work for HealthPlus, I work for Brenemex Clinical Pharmacy, I work for the Elevation Pharmacy, I work for AV Pharmacy, and just name them. Kingsley, the Elbon, the big brands in town. What impressions do you sell to the public about your pharmacy? Because it has an effect. And then customer service. Is that a priority in your place of practice? Do you have a waiting area, or do you only position your practice for just people who want to come and pick and go? How about people who want to wait to see the pharmacist? So these things are very, very important to consider because they add to your reputation. They breed respect for your business. Finally, record keeping. We know that whatever is not recorded is not done. It is important to always keep records. And why do we have to keep records? You see, this is something that people think is too tedious, is too formal, is too Igbo-ish. But I tell you, when you keep good records, you have a lot to gain. You enjoy your business. Things are much easier. In fact, record keeping is one area a lot of business people must always pay attention and invest in. When you keep records, it helps you to get the job done because you know what you have done and what you have not done. You know what you plan to do. When you keep records of what you have done, it gives you a sense of fulfillment. Yes, I have achieved this. And so it makes you even more motivated to do more. When you have done something and keep record, you find out there's a greater sense of accountability. You can say, yes, we have achieved this. We set out to do this and we have done it. This is the record. And when you have done something, you can refer to it. The results, the challenges can be called back to guide as a reference, either maybe to avoid a particular process that was used before that gave negative value. So for reference purposes, record keeping is very important. And when you keep record, especially maybe where there are crises, there are conflicts, and then suddenly somebody comes up with a legal issue, you have information, you have data that can be used to protect you when legal issues come up. When issues of unethical practice, and then you ask the question, you don't have records. Oh, they said they bought peptazocine from you. You don't even have records in your system. How do you defend yourself? But when you have records, you print it out and show them that, we don't have this trace in our pharmacy. So how do we? And they check and they can't see it. Then you can protected. But when you don't have records, you don't even have any guts to speak. So it's important. And then when you keep records, records provide tools for business and clinical decisions. Like I said, when you have records for reference purposes, it can be a basis for making certain clinical or business decisions, leveraging on the experience or the results found in the records. You can know whether to move up or down, left or right. So it's important. And again, when you have records, you know what's the progress of work. Not just that work has been done, but even when work has not been completed, record keeping helps you to know the progress of work. Helps you assess, okay, we are doing well. This is what we have done so far, and this is what we need to do. So these things are very, very important. And then when you talk about record keeping, you need to look at what are some of the books that we need to keep. So it's always important to have, I don't know, so for some of us, like I said, this list is not exhaustive. So look at some of these records and ensure that you have them. And if you don't have them, well, it's also important to get them. But if you have them, bravo. So you have the debtors book where you write a list of those who are owing, both internal and external debtors if you accept credit purchases. Look at your expenses. You need to have a record for expenses. You need to have a record for out of stock, live records as the stocks are going out. You need to be writing them down, right? The good thing is that some of these records are already put together in some of the device, like the shop guide devices has a lot of this, right? It has the debtors, the expenses, the out of stock, your of course your procurement record is there, your sales record is there. It shows your profit as well, and of course, what else? What else? What else? What else? Okay, so basically that can be captured in the Shopify device. So debtors books, expenses out of stock, procurement records, sales ledger, laboratory investigations. Yes, you want to know the laboratory investigations you're sending people out. You need to have records of them to be sure that you're not being, you know, um, people are not cashing out from your business. You have to know record for also quality assurance. Where are you referring them to? You need to be sure that things are working well. It's good for you as a manager, as a business manager, to know where this is. Parental administrations, especially where this is applicable, right? Not every pharmacy does this, but where it is applicable, it is very critical that these records are kept. All right. Now, pharmacy wears repair records. Pharmacy wears. Remember, these are expenses, right? You need to, okay, when did we service um, our BMI, our PP apparatus, our air conditions, our this and that? You need to keep records. The fire extinguisher, when did we replace it, when did we change, to keep records of all this, because you need to know and always have these things in top shape. So you need to keep records. Incidents book. I always encourage staff to have their incidents book, right? So whenever things happen, you record it, all right? So that someone doesn't come and say this happened, and then you don't have what to say when it's called to question. Because sometimes events, things can happen, and then later on, maybe 2 weeks, 1 month later, somebody gets to report that to your manager, to the director, and then you begin to investigate. You don't just want to start accusing your staff for doing something they didn't do. You want to give them an opportunity for fair hearing, right? And so when they have their incidents book and they register things that happen, so when they are called upon, they can easily make reference to it and defend themselves, and you know where exactly the problem is, and you know how to professionally and properly handle it, right? So your profits and loss ledger are very important. The accountants know how to do this. They're able to compile, how much profit you're making or loss, and check your sales, your markup, and check whether you're breaking even and all that, right? So I'm not a financial expert, but these are very important record books that must be kept in the pharmacy. And if you have a device or a technological system that captures these things, fine and good. It mustn't be physical books. All right. So it's important. And in conclusion, a successful business is one that captures various activities aimed at the consistent provision of quality service of products that meet and exceed the customer's expectation, because in exchange for money. Careful observations, interaction, and research has exposed key areas of attention that will help distinguish our pharmacies from non-pharmacies and drive practice success in the new year 2024. Implementing the suggested areas will not only drive practice success and fulfillment, but improve the image of the pharmacy profession. And very important to tell you that at PG and Biz Consult, our dedicated team is able to, source and provide support your businesses in these areas of highlighted. So it's important that if you have any problems, have any questions from what we have discussed, you can always reach out to us and reach out to me as well, or any member of my team for clarity. So thank you so much for your time, and I hope you will be able to pick one or two things that can help make your business better, that can help improve your practice this year 2024. I see you on the other side of success. I see you right at the top, and I'll be very glad to answer your questions, and I'll be glad to, of course, provide more value to you in our next episode. Have a wonderful week, and God bless you.